Hey everyone, Ryan here. So it is July 25th as it is here on day 4 of the Comic-Con at home, having a blast as it is. So there's been a couple panels I've already watched. I watched 2 of them already. We just watched the Mandalorian and his gadgets this morning, and I really thought it was really interesting how they key point certain things that the Mandalorian actually has on him. So let's get off with this right away. It's got the sandblasters, if you guys can remember. He got the Beskar armor, which is that thing that's pretty much covering him, the metal. That's real protective. If you shoot at him, he's real protected with it. He's got those magnetic bombs, which I find it quite interesting. You can put the bomb on, he puts the bomb on the wall. You don't know when it's going to detonate, so it's a thing that does it on its own, which is quite interesting. And those mini rockets as well. The wrist rockets, in other words. You don't, if you flip it this way, you're going to be Spider-Man. The rockets come out this way, and it's really cool. And you got the flame thrower. You know what? I might have that a little wrong, actually. I think it's a wristband, so it's got to be up here somewhere, because I was thinking about the flamethrowers he actually has on this as well. Because the flame comes out this way. The spiderweb comes out this way, but this is the Mandalorian we're talking about here. And the jetpacks are another thing that are really cool with this as well. This is not really a gadget, but they also mentioned in this segment this as well, the carbonite freezing. You guys familiar with the Empire Strikes Back in part into the Return of the Jedi? How Han Solo was in the freezing mode and gets stuck like that. You guys remember that? Well, anyways, they were mentioning that just because when you actually in that, there's no escaping it. It's up if someone comes to your rescue, like Luke Skywalker, in other words. So this was really a fun panel, I gotta say. Really, if you're a big Star Wars buff, you will really enjoy this, especially if you enjoy that show at Mandalorian, like I have. This was an outstanding season. I'm looking forward to another season possibly to happen in the near future, hopefully. But the other panel I've already watched, which I just got finished not too long ago, was the Constantine 15th anniversary. Wow. Now this was pretty amazing. I got it. Everything I've been watching has been really good. I've got to give credit for it. But the Constantine, I can actually remember rewinding back in time and actually watching it. Keanu Reeves was in it, Rachel Weisz. It's one of my movies I'm planning to watch on one of these nights after Comic-Con, because if you are paying attention to your list of the schedule, they actually, I noticed at the last minute they put little movies at the bottom, like around that 7 o'clock time, stuff like that. So there's like tonight I'm gonna watch Pixels with Adam Sandler, and Constantine might be tomorrow night's move on Sunday. This movie this has a different feel, I gotta say, because you're. John Constantine is the lead actor, which is played by Keanu Reeves, and he's got the role of when he was younger, he kind of died for like 2 minutes, and then after that, he starts seeing stuff like demons and angels, stuff like that, and it's based about who can actually trust you. We're hoping that someone else could actually see it, but he's the only one. I guess once you pass over the line of death, there's a possibility you could see both worlds, the reality and death. Like this movie really did it well, I gotta say. And with this panel, they were talking about more behind the scenes stuff with what was going on. Keanu Reeves was just having a blast. It's just fun watching him. And speaking of that too, later on today, the Bill and Ted panel will come up. So this is, I like watching these behind the scenes stuff, especially on the movies. It just gives you more information about the writers and producers, which they had, it was an executive producer and a writer, and they had the actor, Keanu Reeves, and they were talking about the movie. They were just, it was really good, I gotta say. If you have not seen it, I know you can probably rewind that time. I'm hoping after this is done tomorrow with Comic-Con, you can actually go back and watch stuff again, stuff that you might actually miss. But I really enjoyed it. So let me watch more panels as it is. Once again, I will talk about the other panels afterwards. So I'll probably see you later on during the day, okay? Okay, so look, I am done with my 5th panel of the day, at night, and not the evening's time, of course. Right after I left you guys with the 2nd panel, I went to Guillermo del Toro's behind the scene looks of Antlers, and it looks like it's quite interesting and scary at the same time. The reason I like watching these movie-related stuff, this is Bill and Ted Face the Music, I'll get to that later, is the fact that you get to learn a little more about these movies as it is. Especially with Antlers. This is going to be a new creature movie, and we got to find out throughout this movie. We also got to see a new trailer as it is, but they were talking about this creature as it is too, and how it's going to be like a god-like creature, because it's got the antlers, but it's going to be envisioned totally different. They were actually talking about too about how hiring kids to be in these scary movies, and you would think doing a scary movie, being a kid, it will get into your head, psychology, stuff like that. It will make you crazy. In other words, that's the definition of the other words. But I have to give credit for young kids entering these scary movies. And Gil Amara has a really good vision. And it feels like he's got a great control of where his actors want to be, especially when it comes to kids. So this was a great panel. I got to learn a lot. His vision is always quite interesting as it is. And there was a question that brought up, the host brought a question up to the panel about going to Disneyland. What's your favorite ride, so and so. And one of them didn't even it's not gone to Disneyland yet, believe it or not. But Gil Amara has gone many times, of course. And his favorite attraction, the Haunted Mansion, if you thought that right, yes. Which brings me to another question too, because what's going to happen in the future too? Because I think I heard something about Disney talking about him about making another remake of the Haunted Mansion. Is that really is this really what Disney wants? Because you have to know Gil Amara's vision and stuff like that. He's got a dark vision. Think of Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is an awesome, unique film of its kind, but it's dark at the same time. Most of his films are dark. Pacific Rim. That's not too dark, guys. I really think about it, but it's really entertaining movie as it is. It's just he has a vision of a twisted mind. I gotta say, I guess. But it really brings up the case of does Disney really want to remake the Haunted Mansion? Just leave it. I know it happened a while ago, and it didn't do the best. In other words, but Eddie Murphy made it fun and interesting, of course. But let's move on from the next panel, because there's a lot of things I do want to cover. My next panel after that was Doctor Who, Time Lord Victorious panel, which is actually talking about once again, since this is Comic-Con, they were talking about the comics of Doctor Who. I never actually thought about that, because I've watched Doctor Who ever since 2005 with those new episodes rising up to 2020. It's been around for 12 seasons. That's quite amazing, I gotta say. But you guys have to remember, it actually came out in the late 1960s, of course, and went for quite a while to, I think, the early 80s, I believe. And it made a mark. It made a mark in our life, anyways. That it was a great show, and this happens to show that will bring Doctor Who back into this new generation. It creates a lot of stuff. I gotta say, the comics introduced the Doctor Who universe, which I think is pretty cool, and I think it's well creative, and it's the way that they described how the texture and stuff like that from the comic book of Doctor Who. They were talking about the Daleks, believe it or not. And I was kind of wondering why they weren't never mentioned as Cybermen. I quite wonder if Daleks were really back in the 1960s, and maybe the Cybermen weren't really around. I think they were, though. I think maybe it was a new creation, but in this later generation when they rebooted up again back in 2005. Maybe that's a question. If you guys are watching this, let me know too. Maybe there's something along the line there somewhere. But anyways, let me get to my next panel, because as you can see, I can have so much information from these panels, which is really cool. I like watching this stuff. It's just too bad, once again, we can't actually attend this interview, but there's that pandemic out there that's giving us a chance to watch this at home. So my next panel after this, yes, if you see it on the screen, is Bill and Ted Face the Music. And you can see all the cast was there. And we got the director, the writers and producers, the actors, Alex Winter is coming back. Keanu Reeves is coming back. And I also want to point this out too, because if you guys do remember that director, Dean Parasite. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, but I'm gonna say Dean. Dean is a director behind Galaxy's Quest, which is a great movie. If you guys have not seen it, I strongly recommend it. It's with Tim Allen. It's a great adventure. I believe Sigourney Weaver actually was in that too. This as well. So this is great stuff. I'm glad to have him aboard on this Bill and Ted Face the Music. Of course, throughout the panel, of course, we got to see clips of the movie. This as well. Really entertaining. It looks like once again, Depp is coming back, William Sadler. Yes, he's going to be playing, in the beginning of the movie, play hopscotch, so that's going to be quite interesting. He was actually telling us to, when he was actually doing it, during this panel, he was actually saying he kind of hurt his wrist by trying to, I guess he was about to fall and kind of protect himself from falling, and kind of broke his wrist a little bit, so that's not good. But it seems to be fine. Once again, we got our favorite actors. I was talking about Alex Winter, Bill and Ted, Keanu Reeves to play their roles once again. And a little story behind this too, because in this panel they were talking about how Bill and Ted is actually getting made. So these two guys were actually, I believe they're the writers, and they were talking about how this whole Bill and Ted series started with Excellent Adventure. Excellent dudes, bogus. So yes, they were actually in one of those Kmart's or something similar like that. And they were, these two guys were in back of them, and these two. They were creating the whole generation of Bill and Ted in the beginning, and these two happened to be in front of them, and they just felt like these were the perfect guys to play Bill and Ted. And that really gave them the chance to shoot up in their career. They give Bill and Ted our movies with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And now we're here at Bill and Ted's Face the Music. So this is pretty incredible. Once again, we saw some clips. There is a new trailer that came out this last week. It looks really cool. And this movie is set to come out next month, in the month of August. End of August, that is. Once again, it's hard to tell what's going to happen with that. There's words that it might come out. The limited theaters that might actually be open. And believe it or not, what happened to the Trolls World Ride and a couple other theaters that came out to VOD, video on demand, in other words. If you went to pay-per-views on here, it costs like $20, stuff like that. And there's a chance that might actually happen with Bill and Ted Face the Music, probably. So maybe you might get another chance to actually see it. I don't think this won't be another delay. I hope not with another movie, but that would be awesome if it doesn't. But I'm going to start wrapping this up for this night. I'm going to head up for a night walk. And maybe I'll go out there with you guys and just talk with you a little bit out there, okay? So I'm back outside walking once again, attending the amount of panels I have done today here on this Saturday. I did five. That's pretty impressive, I gotta say. I don't think you can actually pull that if you actually went to this convention in San Diego. I don't think that's even possible. Probably can, but really tiring. That's why I'm outside enjoying a night evening out before the last day to Comic-Con. So once again, this is Saturday, July 25th. And tomorrow will be the last day of the Comic-Con. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye. I'm really enjoying my time here at Comic-Con. It's too bad it's not in San Diego this year, but yes, things do happen for... Oh, wait a minute. What's this in the middle of my garage here? Is this the Batcave? Ooh, what this... Oh, the Batman forget his mask here? I might have to play the new Batman. Yeah, I think it is. I really think it is. Maybe I should try it on to see what it looks like. Ooh, this mask feels weird. Feels like I'm the Dark Knight. Maybe I am fit to play the role of Batman. Yes, I think I am. I am Batman. Okay, so we have made it to our last day here on July 26th with the Comic-Con at home. And I got the chance to see two panels today. I have to do other things now, but I want to cover these panels I actually got to see today. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was a 30th anniversary, believe it or not. Can you believe it's been that long already, believe it or not? It came out in 1990. If you guys can remember, the comics itself actually came out a little earlier in the early 80s, of course. This movie has been in a really good development. It seems like within that time, it actually hit the screen in the 1990s as well, too. The first one is classic. It's just amazing how things kind of happen in the beginning, because they were even talking about this during the panel, how this movie came to be, and how the movie was actually small. It was a big budget movie, but yes, at the same time, it didn't do too well at the beginning stages of this movie. First weekend it grossed like 25 million. Now, from learning from this too, they were competing with another movie that came out a week before that. If you guys are familiar with Pretty Woman, they had to compete with Pretty Woman with the Turtles. I find that quite interesting. Pretty much, the Turtles have pretty much taken over within the last 30 years too. It's made a bigger splash with people. This feels like they're trying to redo stuff once again. Once again, in 2014, they actually tried making the Turtles once again with the sequel of its own in 2016. But going back in the 1990 time, 30 years of this film, I remember seeing this movie. I was a teenager around this time. I went to the theaters and I really got a really good experience with this. I really thought it was really clever of some sorts. And I had a friend too that had a really good drawing hand. And he got to show me how to draw one of the Ninja Turtles. And I was getting really, really good at it, I gotta say. And I kind of lost my touch within the time because I'm no longer a teenager, of course. But if I get the inspiration from where I'm beginning today, it's really good to keep a good drawing hand if you're really good at it, especially. And the writing is at two different levels. So again, I reported back on one of my days, I was watching a thing saying it's good to have two people working on a comic together because you got someone with the text and the pictures, which I can kind of agree with that. If you have the ability of doing both, yeah, you can still do it, but it's a lot of hard work as it is still. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel turned out really good. I thought it was. I know a lot of these panels have a whole bunch of different panelists on the group, but there was two people on the group. We had the writer, producers, the creators of this of the first one. I should just bring it down. I keep saying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I could say T and T. You guys will be familiar with that. And Kim Donson, Bobby Herbeck were on that panel, and I thought they really brought a good touch and feeling and brought us a really good backstory of this film. So moving on to my next panel, yeah, you can tell I've been having a really good time with this Comic-Con with this, and I really hope I can attend next year with hopefully being not canceled due to this pandemic. But moving on to my next one is much more inspiring from what I've been talking about. I've been talking a lot about movies. I've been watching a lot of movies, related stuff, behind the scenes stuff here at the Comic-Con at home. Because this next one I did watch was the Comic-Con Film School. See what I'm getting at? And there were a lot of panelists on this panel. But it's a good inspiration, is what it is. They give us really good insights, what we need to know about having to develop a make a movie. You have to figure out your budgets. I even collected notes here, even to help me for my future, stuff like that. When I first started off here on YouTube, of course, I was wanting to make movies, but I got landed somehow to go to the other direction, making videos like this, which I absolutely still love. I'm still inspired to make movies of my own. This is one of these days, and it's just everything. It's this panel, especially with the Comic-Con Film School. They really inspired me to get back to it. And I know we're going through this pandemic, and it's kind of hard making it right now, but from what I actually saw on this panel, so for those who actually are out there right now still going, stuff had to be canceled, stuff like that during this pandemic. What's supposed to happen here? I know it's shut down, you can't really do much, but from what I heard with one of the panelists on this group, they actually had, I guess most people out in that business have the green screen. If you have that screen, you can actually put yourself in there, and you can actually with the effects of the green screen, this as well too, you can actually pretty much have interaction if you really could. It's quite interesting as it is. A really good insight, and it just seems like the industry is still moving on even during this pandemic as it is. And so learning about creating movies of your own, especially if you're an individual like me or something like that, I know it's going to be a little harder because it's going to be a harder task. It's good to have a group of people to help out. But once again, you're going to have to stay true to your voice, how you want to be yourself, setting the story, having a work schedule. And I was hearing from them too. It's good to have a director shot list, what you actually want. It's kind of more like a layout schedule, kind of like what we've been seeing here with the Comic-Con. You know how comics have strips, stuff like that? That in the movie industry, that's actually the same way it does as well. It creates shots you actually want. I know not everything's not going to get, so it'll be on the cutting floor, of course. But it's a good way to actually go when you're making these movies as well. So what else do I have here? Oh, they were saying too. I thought this was quite interesting too because they said someone was saying about leaving notes on the cell phone, but it's what happens if that cell phone goes missing or run low on batteries, about making some sort of schedule for your movie. So it's always good. What I've been doing throughout watching these is still write down your notes and have maybe put it in your back pocket, something like that, to keep you next to you. That way you actually have it. What happens is that if that cell phone actually goes out and you go, oh no, crap! I need to have those paper lists and stuff like that. Where is that? So it would be good to have something like this. Keep a list of what you need for your movie. So everything's really been really inspiring this as well with this. Easy access shots. Okay, so that's a good one. And the other thing I had on top of this, which I did not cover, I should have mentioned this first. For a tip on making a movie too, you don't want to go straight away to a 2-hour movie. They were saying do short movies. Short movies is the way to go before moving on to like a 2-hour movie. And once again, with the explosions, not really the first thing you should really be doing. It's the really key thing about making movies is making it simple, having a good story, having good actors, and the list goes on and on. Budget-wise, it's all sets off into making a great movie. So today I thought was a big successful. All these panels have been really good, but I really enjoyed this last one. I watched it with the Comic-Con Film School. I thought they did a really good job. Everyone did a good job. I think there were like, what was it? 3. I think there were like 6. 8 of them, plus the host of it, which the host is pretty much related to film school. This as well. He was a part writer, producer, director, I believe. Really good insight. I really appreciate everyone that's working on this. A great job, especially what's going on with this Comic-Con. I think this is really cool. Makes me quite wonder to what's going to happen to once today's over. If we will still have access to these panels afterwards. I think that would be kind of cool to go to, because I noticed we are grabbing these panels from YouTube, which I want to say thank you right away to YouTube for really setting this up, and especially Comic-Con for doing this at home. I know this convention which should have been taking place down in San Diego, but due to the pandemic, things have changed, of course. I think everyone's doing a good job, and I really appreciate it. It's a great world when everybody just gets along with each other. It's awesome, I gotta say. So I can start wrapping things up. I really hope you enjoyed these segments. This is day 4 to day 5. I made a different video of my own with day 1 through 3. I had a really good time making this. And leave comments down below too. I would love to hear what panels you actually saw. I wanted to tell you the truth. I wouldn't have exactly a favorite, because I felt like everyone I watched was it was great. It was wonderful to be part of Comic-Con, even though it wasn't actually here in San Diego. We weren't there. So thank you once again for everything you have done with the Comic-Con. Everybody that's working with Comic-Con, I want to say thank you. YouTube, once again, thank you for putting this on. And I'm going to wrap this up saying my name's Ryan Quetch. Thank you for watching. Give me a big thumbs up to tell me what you think about what I did here. And I'm going to say thank you for watching my stuff too. I really appreciate it. I really had a fun time doing this last 5 days, believe it or not. And I'm going to say see you guys later. Bye.